Good evening, my YouTube viewers. It's Crystal here. This video is lesson 8 of my basic Excel course on YouTube. And what lesson 8 is about is saving, opening, and managing files. And basically, if you watched my introduction to IET course, you would have seen that I had given you a tour of my OneDrive account. So basically, I have a Windows computer, and because I have a Windows computer, it runs on Microsoft Office, and I actually pay to get Microsoft Office every month. And because I pay to get Microsoft Office every month, I prefer to have a Windows computer. So I'm using my Lenovo Windows computer, and it's definitely 6 years old, and I hope it lasts longer. I'm just going to use it until I can't use it anymore, really. So this lesson is on saving, opening, and managing files. So I think that the first thing I can do is show you my file system, because if you're going to save, open, and manage a file, you need to have a filing system. So I'm going to click over here to the file, and that's going to be my file system. I'm going to click on to the square, and that's going to mean that my file system is on the entire screen. Okay, so basically what I have, this is my file system in Windows, and you can see I've got my my OneDrive account, because my OneDrive account is actually connected to my computer, and my OneDrive account is on the cloud, and that's why you see a little cloud. So I've got a folder that says apps. I don't know what that is. Don't know what that is. I've got a folder that says attachments. I've got a folder that says desktop, and I've got a folder that says documents. And you open up this folder that says documents, and this folder has lots of little folders inside it. So it says charity stuff. That's yeah, just stuff that I've made for charities. Basically financial. I was doing a financial analysis, and so I save the financial analysis in charity stuff. Charity website. This is a charity website that I made, and I just did it just to learn how to make a website, but I think most people don't do that anymore. I think most people use an app that will make a website for them, but I just wanted to learn how to program in CSS, JavaScript, and HTML. Custom Office templates, the folder is empty, so what I can do with that is I think I can delete that. I can delete it because I don't have any custom Office templates, so I may as well delete it. It says 24/6/26 at 1729. I don't know. I don't have any custom Office templates in there, so I don't need it. Digital products. Now, this was an Excel spreadsheet that I made for my boyfriend because I wanted him to be able to sell digital products on eBay. And I made an A/B testing conversion, but nobody's bought it. I thought it would be great. I think I would like to make some digital products in Excel that my boyfriend can actually sell. So that's one thing that you could do if you learn how to learn Excel. You can make digital products in Excel. So I've got Excel spreadsheets, family photos, financial stuff, and that was some financial documents, Foster Wheeler, this is a company I used to work for. HTML, CSS, JS files. That's where I was learning how to make a website, because you can actually make a website and view it on your browser, because I think that your browser is written in JavaScript. Internship, I did an internship, online internship, and I stored the data in there. Jazz is just a friend of mine. Job search, this is just CVs and information about looking for a job, what I do in my job, my most current CV, my boyfriend's CV, and a friend's CV. This is my boyfriend's directory, but it doesn't have anything in it. But the thing is that he's got a OneDrive account now because I started him a OneDrive account. My data sources, not sure what that is. Python file. So basically what I did was I learned how to program in Python. And so there is a Python in MS Store, and you can install Python on your computer, and you can write programs just in Python, no libraries, just in Python if you want to, and that's what I did. PyCache, I'm not sure what that is. Did that in 2025. I'm going to delete that. No, I won't delete it. I may delete it at some point. R program. I taught myself how to program in R, and these are some R programs that I made. Some Excel spreadsheets with some R programs that I made. Let's see what it says here. So this is a good example for you to look at. It says yield DF, and it's an Excel spreadsheet, but it's a Microsoft Excel comma separated value file. So that's a CSV file. So you can actually save a file as a CSV file, and that will be a comma separated value. So we'll go ahead and look at that. So this is your yield DF as a CSV file. And so basically this is something to do with farming. So you have index, area, item, year, HG, HA, yield, average, pesticide, average temperature, and this is a CSV file. And one thing that you need to know about CSV files is if you're going to save a CSV file in Excel, that CSV file can have only one tab. You cannot have any more tabs than one if you're saving a CSV file. So we'll just go ahead and close that. And then we're going to go back to the file, and this is the yield DF file, which is a Microsoft Excel workbook. So we'll look at that. So it's downloading it. So this is it again. Again, this is yield DF, but this is a Microsoft Excel file, and there's a difference between a CSV file and a Microsoft Excel file. And so file, it says save a copy, so we're just going to go ahead and close that, because basically you can see there's a difference between a CSV file and a Microsoft Excel worksheet. Simon Scribes, this is somebody who's not my friend anymore, but I was making a website for him, and he never gave me the information that I needed to complete the website, and the reason why is because he was a serial fraudster. Training courses is courses that I have made, And so these are some of the courses that I've made. And at the moment, I'm doing this basic Excel course, but it's just on YouTube. It's on Excel, and then it's just on YouTube. It's not on Word. And the reason why is because Excel is a very visual program. And if I was going to sit there and put it in Word or a PowerPoint presentation, it would take a really long time because Excel has tabs in it, and each tab you've got ribbons. So that's why I'm doing it just verbally, verbally. VBA programs, these are programs that I have written in VBA. VBA stands for Visual Basic for Applications that actually goes in Excel. So if you're going to become proficient in Excel, then at some point, if you want to advance your knowledge in Excel, you would need to learn to write programs in VBA, which is what I have done. And the reason why is because I was given work to do, and it was very repetitive, and it took a long time for me to do it by hand. And because it was very repetitive and it took a long time for me to do it by hand, I wrote programs in VBA to automate the process. Word documents, and these are just some Word documents that I did. And Microsoft Copilot chat files, I don't even know what that's about because I haven't opened that. And then you've got pictures, public, and templates. But let's go back to Excel spreadsheets because that is where most of my spreadsheets are located. You can see we've got Beginner's Excel course. That's what we're working on now. So this Beginner's Excel course is a Microsoft Excel macro-enabled worksheet. So if you are going to have a module in it, such as Excel VBA, then you have to save the Excel file as a macro-enabled worksheet. If you don't save it as a macro-enabled worksheet, then you won't be able to put any VBA modules in it. And then so we're going to go down to a Microsoft Excel worksheet. If you save it in Microsoft Excel worksheet, then that means you can't use a VBA. So as you can see, all of my Excel files are for the most part a Microsoft Excel worksheet or Microsoft macro-enabled worksheet. But here's one that is another CSV file. So I did actually get a CSV file in there. So this CSV file is something that I created or downloaded for a spreadsheet that I was working on. And so it goes down a long way, not sure how long it goes down, but it is a CSV file. That is a comma separated value. And so basically, when you're working with data, quite often you're going to need a comma separated value file. So I did find one file for you that is a comma separated value. And let's keep going down here. There's another one with comma separated value. So basically, sometimes you're going to need a CSV file. And so you can actually save Excel in a CSV file, a file in Excel in a CSV file. So we're going to come over here back to this file that we've been working on, that's Beginner Excel course. So I'm just going to show you how to save. So I've showed you my filing system. So my filing system is going to be under Documents, and then under Documents I've got a folder that says Spreadsheet. So that's where most of my Excel files are going to be. Under Files, and then Spreadsheets. You can see Documents here, Documents, Excel Spreadsheets. And then you can see again, Documents, our programming. So I've got the vast majority of my files in the documents folder, and then I open up another folder for where I want to put those. So we're going to just for this exercise, we're going to create a new worksheet. So we're going to create a blank worksheet, and you've got a blank worksheet. So if you want to save it, you're going to say save as. And then what you do is you come over here, and then you have to decide where you want to save it as. So I'm going to save mine in documents. So you save it as documents. And then after you save it as documents, you're going to save it as Excel spreadsheets because it's a spreadsheet. So you can see right here, it says OneDrive Personal Document Spreadsheets. Now, underneath the file name, what you do is you type the file name. But I'm just going to say test file. I'm going to say test file. Okay, and then so you're going to say, you can save it as an Excel X file. That's an Excel workbook. You can save it as a macro enabled workbook. And so you're going to have to save it like that if you want to have a VBA module in it. You can save it as a binary workbook. You can save it as a Excel 97 to 2003 workbook. That's XLS. You can save it as a CSV. You can save it as XML data. You can save it as single file web page. You can save it as a web page. You can save it as Excel template, an Excel macro enabled template, an Excel 97-2003 template. You can save it as a text file, as a Unicode file, as an XML file, as a Microsoft Excel 595 workbook, as a CSV file, and we've got CSV file there. You've got formatted text. You've got text Macintosh, and text MS-DOS, another CSV Macintosh, CSV MS-DOS, DIF data interchange format, SYLK symbolic link, Excel add-in, Excel 97 to 2003 add-in, a PDF file, which I didn't know that, but you can save it as a PDF file, XPS document, strict open XML spreadsheet, and open spreadsheet document. So see, there's something I didn't know. I didn't know that you could save a file as a PDF file. So that'll have to be something that I'm going to experiment with at some point. But usually you're going to have an Excel workbook if it doesn't have VBA in it, and Excel macro enabled workbook if it does have VBA in it. So what I'm going to do right here, since it says so I'm going to save this as, this is just a test PDF because I want to see if it's actually going to save it. So you say save as. And then so we're going to go back to documents. And then you're going to go back to Excel spreadsheets because I'm going to go back and delete it later. And I'm going to say test. Going to do test file PDF. And then I'm going to try it. I've never done this before, but I'm going to try it. So save as a PDF. So it saved it as a PDF. And so let's go back to my file system, into Excel spreadsheets. It says test file PDF. So it's telling you that it is an AVGA file document. So here you've got it right here. So I've got two test files. I've got one test file here and a second test file here. So see, that's something I didn't know. I didn't know that you can save an Excel file as a PDF document. I didn't know that, but I know it now. So we're going to go back to Excel. And then so if you just want to save it, so we've done save as, and so you've saved it as a PDF document, and then you can also press save to save it. But with the Excel that I have, you've got auto save on. So with the Excel that I have, you've got auto save on. This right here it says. So it says just upload the file. We'll save your changes as they happen. How do I turn on autosave? So it says naming your document. So now we've turned on autosave, and then whenever you turn on autosave, then what it does is it saves it automatically. So you can, so now it doesn't say save because it's on autosave and it saves it automatically. But I'm going to close it and I'm going to go back. So we've got this test file, PDF test file, and I'm going to delete that because I don't want it. I just did it as a test. Okay, so I just did it as a test, as a PDF test file. And then you can come over here for date modified, and you can see my beginner Excel course. And then let's see what it says over here. So it says beginner Excel course, and you come over here, it says book 2 OneDrive personal documents. So that's where it is. And so we're going to come over here to documents, and you've got book 2, which I wanted to delete it because I don't want it in here, because I just wanted to demonstrate to you what you can do. See, and I learned something. I learned something teaching this course. I didn't know that you could save an Excel file as a PDF. So, and I've showed you how to save your work properly. I've got, what you would do is I've got my autosave on. So since my autosave is on, it's going to automatically save it. But if your autosave is off, then you're going to have to save it yourself using this little save button. Save is a picture of a diskette, a 3 1/4 inch diskette. So I've explained to you file types for Excel. We've gone over that. I've gone over save as, I've gone over save formats, and I've gone over existing files. I've opened existing files for you, but just to go over it again, what we'll do is we'll come over here and we're going to open up the IRIS data set, and that's in Tracy Renee's OneDrive Documents Excel Spreadsheets. So you open that up, and you can see then we've got this IRIS data. So we've got the dashboard that I've created. You've got the raw data. That's your raw data. You've got an IRIS table. You've got examples per species where I did a pivot table and pivot chart. You've got a length per species where I did a pivot table and a pivot chart. You've got a petal width species with a pivot table and a pivot chart. You've got a sepal length species with a pivot table and a pivot chart, and you've got a several width species with a pivot table and a pivot chart. And this will save automatically because we've got autosave on. If autosave isn't on, then you would have a save button and you would save it. But I'm actually going to close this. And so I think that I've covered everything in this lesson. So I think that's going to conclude this lesson. And the next lesson, that's lesson 8, although we don't have a tab for lesson 8, the reason why we don't have a tab for lesson 8 is because I showed you all of my Excel files in OneDrive, and I didn't actually, well, I did create a file for lesson 8 as a PDF file just because I wanted to see if you could create a PDF file, but I didn't actually want to keep it in my filing system. So that's it for this lesson. The next lesson is going to be 9 and 10 combined, and so I hope you decide to watch the video for the next lesson, and I hope you got something meaningful out of this lesson. So thank you so much, and I will be communicating with you in the final lesson of this beginner Excel course.